Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the International Nuremberg Principles Academy here in Nuremberg, and to thank you very much for participating in our Nuremberg Forum 2022. We are delighted that you, our dear speakers, were able to immediately accept our invitation and travel here to Nuremberg. It is truly wonderful that Courtroom 600 is once again filled with such distinguished company, all the experts, all the speakers, and all the audience members. Thank you for being here with us. It really means a lot. I think the breadth and depth of expertise and experience in this courtroom is deeply, deeply impressive. Thank you for joining us also from around the world online, given the hybrid nature of this event, and we're truly grateful that you're also joining us today. Thank you. The Nuremberg Forum 2022 is dedicated to the topic, the International Criminal Court 2002 to 2022, a court in practice. Now, the International Criminal Court, established as a permanent fixture, has really shaped the international criminal law landscape and is a central actor. The Nuremberg Forum 2022 adds to ongoing conversations about the trajectory of the court, and indeed this anniversary year, the 20th anniversary of the entry into force of the Rome Statute, allows us once again to reflect, to critically discuss topics, the practice of the court, the effectiveness of the court, and the court's development. Given the current situation, of course, there is a palpable sense of urgency to discuss and to reflect upon accountability. Against the backdrop of the continuation of conflict and crimes, ongoing war, changing landscape of international criminal justice more broadly, and the complexity of prosecuting international crimes, accountability efforts and the central role of the International Criminal Court deserves our full attention today. At the outset, I would like to acknowledge, of course, without further ado, the contributions and support of many colleagues and experts who have made this conference possible. The forum is a collective effort, and I would like to wholeheartedly thank the entire team of the International Nuremberg Principles Academy for all the magic behind the scenes in putting this conference together. Their work, dedication, and commitment really stands out. For the entire forum, I'd like to hand over the floor now to Jennifer Schense, Senior Officer, who will lead you through the entirety of the program. I would like to once again thank you all for being with us here today. I wish us all fruitful deliberations and wish you once again a warm welcome here in Nuremberg. Thank you.
Welcome everyone to Nuremberg for the 2022 Nuremberg Forum. I am pleased to open this interactive discussion on the 20th anniversary of the ICC. Our director, Klaus Rackwitz, will be participating remotely, as will 5 of our other speakers and chairs. It is unfortunate that personal circumstances have limited their travel, but I am happy that the state of technology allows them to participate and to be present for this important discussion. Hi, Klaus. I was present, personally, at the April 2002 ceremony at UN headquarters, celebrating the last 10 ratifications that put the number over the magic 60 required for the Rome Statute to enter into force. I was present when the first 18 judges were sworn in at the Rittersaal in The Hague, 2 of them who are here with us. I was a legal advisor at the time to the Coalition for the ICC. In fact, all of my bosses throughout my career are in this conference. Hello, everybody. Companies such as present invite a moment of reflection, not just for me, but for all of us. 20 years ago, the ICC was a miracle that no one dared believe could happen. Today, it has many accomplishments under its belt. What has it done right, and what can it do better? A note on the hybrid nature of this event. We are using the Slido app, which you can find by scanning the QR code at the back of the brochure. And because I always do it wrong, it's the one in the middle, not the one at the bottom. Scanning the QR code will take you directly to the online Q&A and to the polls we are running for each panel. Those of you participating online will find the Slido Q&A and polls to the right of the live stream if you make sure not to maximize your view on your computer screen. Audience members can use Slido to pose questions to the panel and to respond to a poll question, one for each panel. The question is a simple statement designed to be an anchor point for discussion. Do you agree or disagree? We will pose a sample poll question after the keynote addresses to show you how it works. One last note on Slido, you can enter your name and affiliation if, for example, you pose a question and want your name and affiliation noted, or you can remain anonymous. On that note, it is my pleasure to introduce our speakers to deliver opening remarks. Ms. Tania van Uslar-Gleichen, Dr. Nasser Ahmed, and Dr. Navi Pillay. Ms. Tania van Uslar-Gleichen is the Director of International Law for the Legal Department of the German Federal Foreign Office. We are pleased to welcome her to Nuremberg for the first time. Dr. Nasser Ahmed represents the Lord Mayor of the city of Nuremberg. He is the chairman of the Social Democratic Party's Youth Division and a PhD holder. And Dr. Navi Pillay hardly needs introduction. The president of our advisory council, she was one of the first ICC judges, a judge at the ICTR, the High Commissioner for Human Rights, and a leading advocate in the legal fight to end the apartheid regime in South Africa. She will deliver her opening remarks remotely. So I turn the podium over now to Ms. Tania van Uslar-Gleichen. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to also welcome you here at Nuremberg Forum 2022, again in the historic Nuremberg Justizpalast, the venue where international criminal law was born. Representing the German Foreign Office, and as such the Foundation Board, I would like to thank the Academy, above all its director Klaus Rackwitz, and all his collaborators for organizing so perfectly yet again an international conference which brings together the crème de la crème of international criminal justice in person here in Nuremberg as well as virtually on screen. 20 years ago, the International Criminal Court started to operate. Celebrating this milestone of international criminal law by convening the Nuremberg Forum 2020 on the International Criminal Court, a court in practice, is perhaps obvious. But frankly, the current political situation, much more than this 20th anniversary, has put the limelight on the ICC and the uniquely important role it is playing. The world changed when Russia illegally invaded Ukraine on the 24th of February 2022. This marked a steep escalation of the Russia-Ukrainian war, which had already begun in 2014, following Russia's invasion and subsequent annexation of the Crimean Peninsula. The Russian war of aggression marks a turning point on the ground, in German politics, in the international peace and security architecture. As Foreign Minister Baerbock pointed out at the Security Council in September, and I quote, "When we are talking about the current events in Ukraine, we are not talking about abstract reports. We're talking about mothers, about children, about families whose pain is raw." Unquote. Indeed, this war is not just about Ukraine, it's about Europe, about all of us. Only yesterday, this was confirmed by the General Assembly of the United Nations, which voted with an overwhelming majority of 143 against 5, with 35 abstentions, on a resolution condemning as illegal the annexation of parts of Ukraine by shame referenda. In light of this, the ICC has a role to play, I believe is part of the solution. The ICC is an established and integral part of our international legal order, and we are witnessing its swift response to this crisis. The ICC is indeed proving itself to be a court in practice. For the first time, parties of the statutes formally referred a situation to the prosecutor under Article 14 of the Rome Statute to allow an immediate start of investigation in March of 2022. This was and is a strong political sign of unity and support for the court by now 43 states, Germany, EU member states, Britain, Japan, Chile, Canada, to name but some. ICC prosecutor Karim Khan is currently conducting investigations regarding alleged war crimes in Ukraine. Germany remains fully committed to its strong and persistent engagement for the court, not only as the second largest regular financial contributor, but also by supporting the court with additional voluntary contributions as well as seconded national experts. In these challenging times, we need to ensure that the prosecutor is well equipped to carry out his work as effectively as possible. In this context, I would like to mention that here in Germany, the Federal Public Prosecutor General has launched a structural investigation regarding war crimes in Ukraine, and it is in exchange with other prosecutors and the ICC. As a matter of fact, the ICC is a court in practice in partnership with other domestic courts. In this conference, we will also be discussing the principles of complementarity tomorrow with you, Silvia, chairing as president of the ICC's Assembly of State Parties. Complementarity represents a basic part of our international criminal justice architecture. We must do everything we can to fight against impunity for war crimes, and we must do it together. To sum up, the ICC is a court in action. This academy is offering a Nuremberg Forum in action. Allow me one last point before concluding. For Klaus Rackwitz, here today, unfortunately only virtually, this will be the last forum as the Academy's director. It is very unfortunate that he's not here today, but Director Rackwitz, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you wholeheartedly for all you've done for the Academy in the last years. With your background in international criminal law and your lasting commitment, you have formed the structure of this new Academy in just a couple of years. The Nuremberg Academy has become a visible player on the international scene, notably with its diverse and much appreciated program of activities. So, Mr. Rackwitz, on behalf of the Foundation Board and the German Foreign Office, I would like to thank you very much for your work, your excellent work, and our close cooperation. The Academy will miss you. We will miss you, your professional skills, and your lasting commitment. I wish you all the best for the future, and I know we will meet again soon, which is making me happy. For all of us here, thank you. For all of us here participating at the Nuremberg Forum, I wish us fruitful and interesting discussions advancing international criminal law and justice. Thank you very much.
And Dr. Ahmed, thank you.
Excellencies, dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nuremberg. In my capacity as member of the Nuremberg City Council, I have the honor to welcome you here in the name of our Lord Mayor. It's Markus König. He's unfortunately not able to be here this afternoon, but his warm welcomes too. In his name and in the name of the whole city of Nuremberg, I want to tell you that we feel very honored to have you here. We appreciate that this internationally recognized forum is being held here in Nuremberg. And in my opinion, Nuremberg provides the ideal setting for this Nuremberg Forum because Nuremberg is both. On the one hand, Nuremberg is a historic site where the perpetrators of crimes against humanity held their party rallies and where the so-called Nuremberg race laws have been declared by them. And on the other hand, you have this very courtroom 600, the historic site where the first trials took place, where individuals were held accountable for those crimes against humanity. Together with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, the formulation of the Nuremberg Principles laid a foundation for rule-based coexistence among nations in the first years after the World War II. Not least because of our ambivalent history as city of Nuremberg, our city sees itself as particularly committed to the principles, treaties, and institutions of international law that emerged from right here. In accordance with its mission statement of a city of peace and human rights, our city administration maintains, for example, an office for the coordination of human rights activities and supports the civil society actors actively in this field and opposes any form of social discrimination, not only here, but all over the world. I'm firmly convinced that Nuremberg city administration has made tremendous efforts to promote human rights and support the rule of law, to grapple with our own history, to deal with the past, but to pave the way for greater awareness and effective realization of human rights. Some of the efforts have brought us impressive and worldwide recognized initiatives like the Way of Human Rights or the International Nuremberg Human Rights Award, the Documentation Center Nazi Party Rally Grounds, and the Memoriam Nuremberg Trials as municipal institutions. Those institutions have the task of providing information about the period of National Socialism and its socio-legal reappraisal, and to provide education in the sense of peace-oriented historical, political, educational work. Since 2015, as you already mentioned, the city of Nuremberg has also been sponsoring this International Academy of Nuremberg Principles as a benefactor, together with the federal government and the state of Bavaria, in the spirit of affirming the universal validity of international criminal law. It is extremely important to the city of Nuremberg that we can host such a scientific exchange as the Nuremberg Forum in the spirit of peace through justice. And I say this, of course, against the backdrop of the brutal war of aggression that Putin's Russia is waging in Ukraine right now. Today, too, our thoughts are with the civilians in Ukraine who are suffering under the hail of bombs from the Russian regime, for example, in Kyiv, in Zaporizhia, and also in our twin city in Kharkiv. We all, here in Germany and also in Nuremberg, we support the struggle of the Ukrainian people for freedom and democracy, and we will not allow the law of the strongest to take over the world political stage again. We rely on the strength of the law. Putin must not win this war, and Ukraine will prevail. And once the war is over, it is up to professionals like you to ensure that all war crimes and war criminals receive their just punishment. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, I want to come to an end of my remarks. I always give a very important advice to guests of our nice city with a long tradition, but also with a culinary highlight we have here. I always say, don't leave our beautiful city without trying our world-famous dish. It's the Franconian burger, and unlike the American one, there are 3 sausages in it and a dab of mustard. Don't miss it. Thank you for your attention.
And now to round out our opening speakers, we'll have Judge Navi Pillay, who I see there. Hello. and
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm really sorry that I'm not with you today in courtroom 600 because of medical reasons. But it is my great pleasure to open the 2022 Nuremberg Forum of the International Nuremberg Principles Academy under the topic the International Criminal Court 2002 to 2022, a court in practice. I had the privilege of being one of the first 18 judges elected to serve on the ICC bench in 2003. The ICC reflected, at the time, the greatest aspirations the international community held for putting an end to the pervasive impunity for the atrocities of the 20th century. The ICC certainly reflected, to my mind, the pinnacle of what we fought so hard to achieve, in my case, under the yoke of apartheid in South Africa, a dream that we many times could never have imagined would come true. So the ICC will be 25 years old next year, and some people may think that's a great deal of time. What has it achieved? But if you look into the scheme of history, starting with Grotius in 2000, who first came up with the idea of international criminal justice, then 25 years is a drop in the ocean of time. I also speak to you, as was mentioned, in my capacity as the president of the Advisory Council of the International Nuremberg Principles Academy. 70 years after the first international trial, which took place in this courtroom 600 on November 20th, 1945, the Federal Republic of Germany, the Free State of Bavaria, and the city of Nuremberg established the Academy to promote the Nuremberg Principles. The Nuremberg Principles, adopted by the United Nations General Assembly by Resolution 1/96 on December 9th, 1946, provides the core elements of accountability, that there should be accountability for all international crimes, regardless of factors such as national laws, amnesty provisions, head of state immunities, geopolitics, changes in the international legal order, and changes in the nature of crimes arising from globalization, to which I would add that these principles must be applied generally to all who attract the attention of these investigations. They cannot be selectively applied to a state who is your friend and a state who is your foe. And so that's what Nuremberg Principles taught us. These principles underpin the International Criminal Court established by the international community with the adoption of the Rome Statute on July 17, 1998. The goal of the Academy is to promote sustainable peace through justice and the rule of law by supporting worldwide enforcement of international criminal law, furthering knowledge, and building capacities at the international and national level to investigate and prosecute the crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and the crime of aggression. So for the first time in modern history, in this room where you are seated, judicial power, backed by punishment, was exercised by the international community to achieve justice and accountability of individuals for the commission of war crimes and what were called then crimes against humanity. The resort to justice as integral to the peace process in the aftermath of great conflicts is still a new development and still needs nurturing and direction. The subject of accountability for serious violations of international law was initially embraced in the collective security architecture set out in the Charter of the United Nations, subsequently elaborated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Bill of Rights. Preservation of the right to life and protections against systematic and widespread violations of human rights and human dignity were henceforth to remain cornerstones of the international normative system built after the defeat of Nazi ideology and fascism. More significantly, all states were expected to integrate these norms into their domestic legal frameworks and take measures to hold accountable those individuals found to have been in violations. And these norms obviously also include incorporation of the Rome Statute into national systems. I am proud to see that the Nuremberg Forum is embracing not only the opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of the ICC, but to examine with some objectivity the flaws, the mistakes, the missteps that block it from achieving its full potential. No human enterprise is perfect from the start, and the ICC is no exception. So we must be able to scrutinize the work of the court and look at the difficult challenges that must be embraced in the name of creating a truly fair and a truly independent international court that metes out real and lasting justice. My colleague and close friend Richard Goldstone, who will be participating in this forum, has led the way on this matter, having recently chaired the independent expert review group established in December 2019 by the ICC, Assembly of State Parties, to review the ICC and the Rome Statute system. Its unflinching and detailed report provided an invaluable roadmap for reviewing the promise of both the court and of its community, both so well represented in this room today. The external obstacles to success are what they always were and always would be, namely crimes of such a scale as to demand an organized response from humanity. And dare I say, this is what happened. It was a collective action of humanity the world over that helped bring apartheid to an end. I never thought that I would see change in my lifetime in South Africa, but that happened. It took an extraordinary group of activists and lawyers supported by their families and communities to bring a real reckoning and to make possible the start of something better. So the change did not happen because we quietly hoped it would or stayed silent when everyone told us it would be more prudent to hold our tongues. As I wrote in an op-ed for CNN almost a year ago today, I quote, "To see how far we have still left to go to achieve true equality, not only in South Africa, but anywhere in the world, where people are denied human rights and justice, can feel daunting. But we must remember that if we do not remain vigilant and demand accountability and work continually towards ending human rights violations everywhere, they are likely to be repeated anywhere." So I have learned one thing for sure, and that is to stand steadfast for the rule of law and justice. And I feel greatly privileged here today to be in the company of like-minded individuals who share this commitment to a better world. So it is my pleasure to renew my commitment here and to wish my best for those of you who will carry on this work forward. Thank you.